who you are, where you are. It's because of what you do and how you live. A young man had a car accident in Galveston. Galveston is just outside Houston, where I used to live. And he's driving back to Houston. On the road, he's in a Jeep. The Jeep rolls over, and it badly damages him. He's in an intensive care at the hospital. His father is one of our imams. His father is a scholar. His father rushes to his son at the hospital. They come to him, and his father is reading Quran to him, telling him, you might not make it. Say this, say that. The son can barely speak. And then finally the son wakes up, he opens his eyes, and he starts to say something, and then he passes away. The father comes up crying. What did he say? What did he say? He said he was singing the last tune he was listening to in his car. What are your habits? What do you do? That is how you will go. Classical scholars tell stories of people that die in front of them. An accountant dies, one scholar says. Upon his death, that they come to preach to him, all he can say is 10, 12, 15, 35. He's doing math, and he dies. A carpenter is dying, and he says 2 by 6, 3 by 7. He's measuring in his coma, in his fever. Whatever you do habitually is how you will go. If you have a good life, you will have a good death. If you live evil, you will have an evil death. This is the reality. So we look at death in 2 ways. I will conclude with this. The Prophet said, first and foremost, as I mentioned earlier, he said, always, always seek refuge in your Lord from Sur Khatimah, a horrible ending, a horrible death. May Allah save us from a bad death. Now when we go to our last moment, I'll briefly describe, it's a long narration, I have to be very brief, I'm out of time, look it up inshallah, but very briefly, what happens to a good soul, what happens to a bad soul? The bad soul, when the soul reaches the throat, well, now here is the moment where there's no more speaking to us, there's no more communication, the eyes will open, even if in a coma, whatever the case may be, or the eyes will open, sometimes they don't, but their own eyes open, the person sees, and they see an angel. This evil soul will see an angel, dark and scary. And the angel will scare the person. 2 of them will sit as far as the eye can see, frightening this person. Then a 3rd angel, the angel of death, arrives. When he arrives and he calls the soul, "Oh foul soul, come out to your Lord's wrath, for you were quick to disobey." And the soul will rush to the toes, not wanting to die. The angel of death will reach in from the throat to the feet, and pull the soul 1 joint at a time, up to the knees, up to the hip, each time pausing, each time ripping his soul out of his body, the way a wet cotton ball would be slipped through a thorn bush. A painful death he is given. And it is ripped out of his body until it comes out of his mouth. The second, as he is taken out, the second his soul is out, the other 2 angels wrap his soul in a shroud made from the tree of Zakum. Zakum is a place in the hellfire, a bitter tree, coarse tree. The soul is taken to the heavens and it has a foul stench. The foul stench is the evil sins it used to do. The angels of the heavens will close the gates and say, "Who is this foul stench?" The angels carrying him will say, "This is so-and-so, son of so-and-so." And he will be labeled by the worst names he was ever called in the dunya, in this world. All the way to the 7 heavens this continues. And there Allah says, "Put him in his body. Show him his place, for what I have promised must come to pass." And this soul then is put. This soul then is put back into the body, it goes into the grave. Upon the last person leaving his grave after he's buried, the angels Munkar and Nakir come. Brothers and sisters, do you understand? The angels of the grave are not beautiful angels. Forget this Hollywood, Bollywood stuff about lights and beautiful lights. Angels do the bidding of God, and some of them are horrific looking. The angels in the grave, they come in, they walk on their teeth, they look like monsters, and they screech and scream, calling upon you. What? 3 questions. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? And who is the man sent to you? Many people think I will have these answers. Little do you realize you'll panic. Some people might even answer correctly. A 3rd person comes into this grave. This person comes into the grave, it will look horrible. This person will be panicked. A window to hell is opened in his grave, and the flames will engulf him in his grave, and the grave will collapse upon him. And while in this state, he will see this person say, "You're horrible looking. I don't like you. Why are you here? Go away." This person will say, "I am the evil you used to do. And we're both going to go through this. And when he is asked, who is your Lord? He will remember people saying it. So he will say, Allah is my Lord. And that person will say, his evil deeds will say, he is lying. He's only saying it because he heard it. Look at me, I am proof. He did not believe Allah was his Lord. Look at his deeds. And so on and so forth. And this continues until the day of judgment. The good soul, when it comes to the throat, after all the agonies of death, the pain of illness, I mean, the agonies of death are horrific when you're finally dying for the bad person. Much worse. But for the good soul, there is no pain. It's like a pinch. The angel of death will come white and bright and beautiful. Two beautiful angels sitting as far as the eye can see, comforting you, saying, oh, good soul, relax. Good time for you. You were good. You knew. You prepared. Relax. Angel of death will say, oh, good soul, come to your Lord's mercy. You were good, quick to do righteousness. And you'll be wrapped in a shroud. As the soul is taken from the mouth, it's like water pouring out of a bottle. It is that simple. It is as simple as that. Soft death. May Allah give it to us. Amen. And the soul leaves. And the angels, Allah describes them, and they do not fall short of their duty. Praising them that they're so fast, they rush to grab him. We wrap him in a shroud made from those materials of paradise. He is rushed into the heavens, and each heaven the people say, who is this beautiful smell? Who is this beautiful smell? A beautiful perfume will come from him, from his good deeds. And the angels will say, this is so-and-so, son of so-and-so, using the best names he was ever known by. And this continues to the seventh heaven, where Allah says, what does my soul want? Oh, my Lord. And you see, you look into the gates are open for you. And you see inside, come on, let me in. I'm here now, let me in. I want to go in. And the angels will say, oh Allah, the soul wants to go in. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no. Tell him what I promised must come to pass, the day of judgment. Now it's time for you to rest. Wait. Go to your grave. And the soul is returned to the body. The body is buried. The last person walks away. The angels walk in. Before they can frighten him, the second person comes in. But this time it's beautiful. You look familiar. I know you from somewhere. And he will say to you, I am the good deeds you used to do. And today is your day of blessings and rest. The grave will be expanded as far as the eye can see. A window to paradise will be opened, and the breeze of paradise will engulf you. And the angels will come asking, who is your Lord? And that person will tell you, to relax, don't worry, you know who your Lord is. Look at you, you live for him. You live for his sake, etc. And then the soul will rest until the day of judgment. And relating to the day of judgment, when the souls do come out, brothers and sisters, we will at that time answer thing we did. The day of judgment is a whole nother topic. It's a whole nother topic, but I will conclude. One person I will describe on the day of paradise. The person I pray you and I all become. This person, when he comes out of his grave, and that day is a horrific day, when the sky is ripped open, so is the roof of the grave, and the body is expelled, and you will stand, and some will be frightened. Long day for many, but a very short day for some. The short day, the 50,000 years long day, the day of judgment. For some will be as long from Dhuhr to Asr, a handful of hours. Quick. You will come out to your Lord's mercy. Allah will bring you to him and say, oh my slave, you did this sin, you did this sin, you did this sin. And we'll be humiliated. We'll be humbled and we'll say, oh Allah, is there any mercy for me today? He says, yes. I hid these sins of yours in the dunya, and I hid them today, and I forgive them. Enter my paradise. And every soul will enter by his mercy like this, those who repented. Those who make tawbah, they will enter this way, but the book will be handed to him, forced into his right hand. And he will take the book in his right hand, and he will turn around. Someone, quick, read my book. In it are only good, because I knew today would come, and I prepared for it. Who wants to read my